Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all. This is the housekeeping session. Gentle reminders to all presenters. Presenters are required to register their attendance through the link provided. We will use WebEx for the sessions. We will provide the link through this medium. Please ensure that you have a stable internet connection, functional microphone, and webcam to ensure good audio and video quality. Please ensure that all the devices meet the system requirement for running online live presentation. For academic presentation, session, in this case meetings, will be opened by the host 30 minutes prior to the starting time to allow every participant to join in time. No sessions will start before the host open the session. The presenters need to share their screens and control the flow of the presentation themselves. The presenters are encouraged to use creative ways of presenting. A copy of the slides must be sent to the organizing committee before the event as a backup copy. The presenters are encouraged to keep their visual clear and simple. Simple graph, charts, diagrams, and infographics are much more meaningful. Minimize use of words and make powerful presentations. Graphic projected on the screens are meant to support the presenter's spoken word. They should help clarify ideas, emphasize points, show relationship, and provide visual information so that the audience understand the message. Sessions will be scheduled according to the Greenwich Mean Time or GMT +8. You can use this URL to check your time zone, insert your location, and see your time in relation to GMT 8+ at https://greenwichmeantime.com. All presenters will enter the session in mute mode to avoid interruptions of presentation that may be occurring. The host will enable the sound as soon as it is ready. The host will be monitoring the session, so if you have any technical questions during the session, you can send chat messages to them so they can assist you. Presenters are advised to use their real names in the meeting. Each sessions will have a moderator in charge that will manage time and moderate questions and answers. Please raise your hand if you want to pose a question to the presenter, or if you prefer, you can pose a question by sending a message directly to the presenter. The duration of the presentation is restricted to the one provided by the organizer. Please respect the timings to allow time for interaction with question and answer sessions. Oral presentation, 7 minutes. 3 minutes for discussion with the audience. Any presenters going over time limits will have the Q&A period curtailed or even eliminated at the end of the affected presentation. The host, however, will be flexible if technical problems occur. Make sure that the presenters are in the meeting room for the Q&A session after the presentation, even if the presentation was pre-recorded. Before you connect to the WebEx meetings, please open your PowerPoint presentation in your desktop. Close all other windows or application, especially email, that will not be using during your presentation to avoid disruptions. If technical assistance is needed during the session, Please notify the host, and the host will assist the participants if they can, or will alert technical expertise of the need. With that, we come to the end of the housekeeping session. Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berhormat Datuk Dr. Razzie Jidin, Senior Minister of Education. Yang berbahagia Datin Sri Hajah Nur Zamani binti Abdul Hamid, Director General Education Malaysia. Yang berusaha Dr. Ahmad Rafi bin Cik Kasim, Deputy Director General Education Malaysia, Teachers Professional Development. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Haji Tajuddin bin Muhammad Yunus, Director Institut Aminuddin Baki. Yang berusaha Dr. Haji Abdul Razak bin Manaf, Deputy Director Professional Cluster Institut Aminuddin Baki. Yang berusaha Encik Zainuddin bin Haji Muhammad Nur, Director Institut Aminuddin Baki, Genting Highland Branch, cum Committee Chairperson for ICELAM 2021. Division Directors, State Educational Directors, Head of Centres, Directors IAB Branches, District Educational Officer, Principal, Headmasters, Paper Presenters and Participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and a very good morning. We would like to welcome you to the second International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management, or ICELAM 2021. Institut Aminuddin Baki welcomes all presenters and participants. The theme of the conference is Resilient Leadership in the New Normal of Education. To bless the event, we would like to invite Al-Fadil Ustaz Dr. Azani bin Ismail to lead a dua recitation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise belong to Allah, the creator and sustainer of the worlds. Peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companions and his followers. O Allah, may our meeting in the second International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management, ICELAM 2021, be blessed, and may our parting be honored by your grace and protection. And we implore to you, ensure that we are protected from malice and harm and bestows with your blessing. O Allah, teach us love and compassion, that we may heal the world and heal each other. Make us live these days compassionate of heart, clear in our word, gracious in awareness, courageous in thought, generous in affection. O Allah, open our eyes to see your compassion in those around us. Let us see your forgiveness in those who wrong us. Let us see passion in those who contradict us. Let us see your wisdom in those who criticize us. O Allah, forbid that the successes of today make us conceited and boastful and be to our detriment. O Allah, forbid that it lead us to hubris and cause to forget the promise we have made and will to others. O Allah, grant us our requests, accomplish for us our needs in this world and the hereafter, and save us from the torment of fire. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma, وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
Thank you to Al-Fadil Ustaz Dr. Azani bin Ismail. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Haji Tajuddin bin Muhammad Yunus, Director, Institute Aminuddin Baki, to deliver a welcoming speech.
Thank you to Chairperson, distinguished guests, invited keynote speaker, all participants. A very good morning. Let me express that we have deeply honored to have Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Razzie Jidin, Senior Minister of Education Malaysia, with us for having graced our proceedings in this conference despite his tight schedule. Indeed, the presence of Yang Berhormat will be the catalyst for us to serve to uplift the educational system of the country. Selamat datang Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Muhammad Razzie bin Muhammad Jidin. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I would like to extend my warmest welcome to all the keynote speakers, paper presenters, and participants to the second International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management 2021, second ICELAM 2021. I would like to thank all the presenters, moderators, and participants for your productive and valuable contribution as your active participation has made this conference an excellent, fruitful endeavors. I also would like to congratulate and all the committee's members for successfully organizing this conference. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, IAB has been imparting educational leaders and managers with the latest information on educational leadership and management since its establishment in August 1979. National seminars on educational leadership and management is held by IAB annually to cater for the needs of local educational leaders and managers to share their experience as well as their research findings in the area of educational leadership and management, ELM. Due to the huge demands for the international educational leaders and managers, IAB held the first regional conference on educational leadership and management, RECLAM, in 2009 to provide a platform to convey local and international researchers, experts, and practitioners together to share their ideas, findings, and research outcomes in the various aspects of ELM, as well as to discuss practical challenges encountered and solutions adopted. RECLAM was again held in 2011, 2013, and 2015. As a result of its successfully acceptance by the educational world, not only from Asia and also globally, RECLAM is renamed as International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management, ICELAM, and held for the first time by IAB in 2019. We also strengthened the position of IAB as the premier center 2.0 to be an international ELM hub. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in line with the theme Resilient Leadership in the New Normal of Educational and the second ICELAM hope to highlight suggestions as well as solutions to the growing challenge of leadership and managing educational organization in the midst of current crisis involving the COVID-19 pandemic. The challenge in this prolonged crisis requires school leaders to seek new orientations and take fresh approach to manage their organizational and understand the psychological and emotional foundation of education. Thus, ICELAM provides an opportunity to initiate an international understanding and cooperation through discussion and knowledge sharing among ELM experts and participants from various levels of the educational world, which will greatly enrich the discussion there. It is hoped that it will be a strong network to promote dynamic ELM through their knowledge gathering. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to wish all participants to success in their 2 days event and hope that you would further explore the golden opportunities of strengthening cooperation in the area of mutual benefits, a beginning of making connection with new friends, an enhancement sharing of resources and experience, and also to widen your professional network in this regard. Let me also assure you that the members of the Secretariat are always at hand, try their best of insisting you to make you feel more comfortable and pleasant. Let me thanks again Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Razi Jidin, Senior Minister of Education Malaysia, for having graced our event today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Datuk, for the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have been waiting has arrived. It is a great honor to invite Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Muhammad Razi Jidin, Malaysia Senior Minister of Education, to deliver a speech and officiate the 2nd International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management.
Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, congratulations to Institute Amiruddin Baki for organizing the 2nd International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management 2021. I would also like to convey my appreciation to all the keynote speakers, presenters, and conference participants from local and international organizations who have given their commitment and ideas throughout this conference. To all committee members who have worked tirelessly to make this conference possible, we are grateful for the time and energy that you have put into making this conference a success. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme chosen for the conference is Resilient Leadership in the New Normal of Education. Behavioral statistician Joseph Hockman defines resilient leaders as leaders who see failures as temporary setbacks they can recover from quickly. They maintain a positive attitude and a strong sense of opportunity during periods of turbulence. When faced with ambiguity, a resilient leader finds ways to move forward and avoid getting stuck. Thus, in facing the COVID-19 pandemic, we are indeed experiencing the turbulence and ambiguity that Hockman mentioned. This pandemic has and continues to alter society at every level. The education sector has not been spared. Across the world, education policymakers have adopted creative solutions to overcome the challenges that arise due to the new normal. In Malaysia, it has required the full court effort of students, teachers, and administrators to work together in making blended learning methods work. In short, it is imperative that our schools are led by resilient leaders who can be flexible, adaptive, and innovative in the face of challenges in order to ensure that students are able to continue their studies. One of the challenges that tested the mettle of resilient leaders during the pandemic is the broad implementation of distance learning. Our leaders had to ensure that teachers receive immediate training in online learning strategies that includes customizing content, both physical and digital, as well as updated pedagogical methods. They have also had to familiarize themselves with the full suite of Google, Microsoft, and other applications which might have been foreign to them before. Another challenge was to ensure that students are not left behind. The feedback we received indicates that online learning impacted students differently. Some students' willingness to ask questions is thought to be hampered in online learning, and those who are not able to keep up with the pace of discussion risk feeling excluded and losing confidence. This is where resilient leaders can help and find ways to get student feedback on their learning experience and customize the delivery through both physical and online methods. Besides that, another challenge is in motivating students. School leaders must not only play a role in ensuring that teaching and learning continues during the pandemic, but more importantly, leaders must consider how to deal with students who are detached from schooling. This behavior appears in various forms, from schoolwork completion to online class attendance. Therefore, resilient leaders need to formulate ways to uplift students' dedication to their studies. The educational application and internet requirement is also another challenge that needs to be highlighted. The type of online platform used also raise concerns among teachers and students, such as materials and methods used in the teaching and learning process during the COVID-19 pandemic. The implementation of home-based teaching and learning includes online, offline, and off-site learning approaches. Offline teaching aids could be designed to suit the needs of teachers and children at schools, considering their constraints such as preparing materials to be delivered to students or picked up by parents at school. Meanwhile, off-site learning involves teachers going to a rural community in delivering teaching materials to students. We are aware that some schools or students in rural areas lack internet connectivity. So, as alternative, Ministry of Education has also introduced a dedicated educational TV channel, Didik TV KPM, as well as educational programs through TV OK RTM and Tutor TV Astro. The channel and programs receive good feedback from parents and students. Ministry of Education has also prepared Digital Educational Learning Initiative Malaysia, or DELIMA, which offers varieties of educational resources. It is hoped that all these initiatives benefited the students in assisting their learning process. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the pandemic, stakeholders in the education sector have demonstrated remarkable agility. They have to adapt to wholesale changes to methods of teaching and facilitate new ways to transfer knowledge. Teachers have had to take the initiative in setting up online platforms and upgrading devices for smooth transmission. Nevertheless, the ability to embed rapid decision-making into day-to-day school operation will be equally important through crisis recovery and into the next normal. Nevertheless, managing in this new and unfamiliar environment demands more from leaders. During the crisis, significant changes in society, organization, and individuals have brought considerable uncertainty into our conventional system. These changes have resulted in significant adjustment and new difficulties around the definition of education, which resilient leaders must address. Resilient leaders will grab the opportunity to grow and adapt as we enter the recovery phase. They will not only heal but also move forward, having built and integrated new attitudes, belief, agility, and structures into their mindsets. Resilient leaders begin by imagining what success would look like once the recovery phase is complete. Leaders can develop more aggressive and imaginative plans by defining the goal first and working backwards. Resilient leaders must motivate their teams to endure in the face of difficulties. Great leadership, on the other hand, requires even more followership, which is fostered by trust. Trust produces tangible effects in terms of economic growth and shareholder value, enhanced creativity, stronger community stability, and improved health outcomes. Resilience has a key role to play here, in that schools will need to be confident in their structure and operation to allow them to remain agile to shift policy restriction at the moment's notice while keeping an eye on the long-term success of students. The difficulties will not end here. There are still some more challenges to come. Amid this, we need a new cohort of resilient leaders to rise to the challenge. These leaders will have developed the tenacity that equips them and the school with the ability to survive and even thrive in the new normal. Inculcation of this resilient approach across the school will be key. It is vital that all teachers and students appreciate the importance of their role and embed a mindset of a resilient explorer in the quest for knowledge searching. Almost every leader has had to deal with a crisis. The current pandemic problem is unlike anything we have seen in more than a century. In a transition situation, resilient leaders must respond and adjust to fluid situations across the organization. Your leadership style, which has most certainly served you well up to this point, will need to be reconsidered and altered in light of this unusual and unexpected crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, with the COVID-19 pandemic impacting all levels of the education sector, we applaud the effort of teachers and administrators in being flexible and creative in delivering education both online and offline. The government and education stakeholders need to continue to collaborate in ensuring that students continue to learn and thrive. Once again, I would like to stress that resilient leadership is characterized by the capacity to view setbacks as challenges. Your subordinates may look to you for emotional strength and courage during difficult times. If the leaders are seen to practice resilient leadership, they will portray a positive attitude that will help others maintain their emotional strength and courage needed to adhere to a common vision and overcome obstacles. I believe that together we can get through this difficult time. Indeed, nowhere it is more important to have resilient leaders than in leadership position at school. The task to develop such leaders has been headed by Institute Aminuddin Baki or IAB for over 40 years. IAB's own flagship program, the National Professional Qualification of Educational Leaders or NPQEL, is, as we speak, training and producing resilient leaders for national school right here in Malaysia. Finally, I call upon all educational leaders in this forum to support your teachers, parents, and communities as all over the world. Only with your own resiliency will we then be able to overcome the challenges that we will face throughout this pandemic and in the hyper-digital age to come. Hereby, with great pleasure, I officially launch the second International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management 2021. On that note, I thank you.
The committee would like to thank Yang Berhormat Datuk Doctor for officiating the conference. For your information, the montage was created by the Multimedia Department, IAB Genting Highlands. Yang Berhormat Datuk, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the opening ceremony. Please refer to the conference schedule as a guide to participate in keynote sessions and presentations. We hope you can take this opportunity to participate in discussion with question and answer sessions. I end with wassalam and happy conferencing.